Welcome back to normal baseball. Max Scherzer has been suspended for 10 games. Fernando Tatis Jr. is back, and Jacob deGrom might already be injured. Let's get into it. What's going on? Welcome back to Normal Baseball. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That's Lewis, and you are now tuning in to another episode of the Normal Baseball Podcast. A lot of games happened this week, as always. 15 series. On Tuesday, there were 17 games total, a couple doubleheaders. Just a lot of baseball overall this week, as always. There's a lot of places we could start this episode from, but where I would love to start, is the fact that Fernando Tatis Jr. is finally back. He's back from his injury, suspension. He's back. He had his first at-bat back with the Padres. He struck out, but not too worried. It's just exciting that he's back already because the Padres, they need him.
Oh, they need him bad.
Yeah, so hopefully he can bring a big change to this lineup because this past week, the Padres and the Diamondbacks, the Padres and the Braves had a series, and the Padres lost 2 of 3. The only game they won was a 1-0 game, where the only offensive production was from a solo home run from Juan Soto. They lost game 1. They lost game 1 and 2. So the Padres are currently 9-11, and the Diamondbacks are currently 11-8, and the Diamondbacks and Padres are now playing a series. So how vitally important is Fernando Tatis Jr. going to be for this team?
Well,
this season?
for sure he is going to be that, I don't want to say missing piece because this team is full of just absolute pieces, but it is worth mentioning that now adding Fernando Tatis Jr. into a lineup that already has Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, Juan Soto, like you just said, just that top 4 might be, if you think about the numbers and all of baseball history, it might be one of the best top 4 for a lineup of all time.
That's when they're actually producing.
If they're producing, that it genuinely could be considered one of the best top 4s of all time.
Yeah, I mean, this year they have not really produced as of yesterday. Not counting the game that we're watching right now. As of yesterday, Juan Soto's batting 194. Yes, he has 4 home runs, but still batting 194, which is not what you want to see from Juan Soto. His on-base percentage is still .372 while batting 194, so if that tells you something about Juan Soto, there you go. Manny Machado is batting .241, which is not Manny Machado numbers. Mm-hmm. The only guy out of those big 4 that has been constantly producing is Xander Bogaerts, who's batting .343. There's not much else you can ask for in that. And the rest of the lineup has just been not good. Literally, like, no one else is batting above 240, or 220, rather. 220, that's how bad it is.
Yeah.
Just no one's really producing. The lineup's not clicking as we thought it was. And hopefully Fernando Tatis Jr. can be what makes this lineup click again. It all just depends on if he can come right back out of the gate and just start crushing the ball.
Yeah.
That's what it really depends on.
I do also think that maybe the Padres got a little bit too cocky, a little bit too quick, just because they did go out and sign guys who I think everyone knew could not help produce for the top of that lineup, such as like Nelson Cruz or Rougned Odor, just having those type of guys that we know weren't going to be productive while Fernando Tatis Jr. was out, not really helping them, and hopefully they figure out where to put them to ensure that the lineup can rotate, because the more at-bats the top 4 or 5 guys get, the better and better this team can become.
Rougned Odor, yes, not producing. Nelson Cruz has been a beauty for this team so far.
Yes,
he's been a very surprisingly good. He's batting .295.
He is batting .295
in the game when he actually is playing. He doesn't play every single day, but he's batting .295. So he's been fine. Obviously, he's not going to put up Fernando Tatis Jr. numbers. I don't know, like what He's 40 years old, or what is he? 42 years old.
Yeah.
He's almost 43 years old. He's not going to be, stealing like Nando. But, yeah, I don't know. I could have told you that maybe they would have had a little bit of trouble before he came back, but...
Not this much trouble?
Not this much trouble, because you'd think the other three, the Juan Soto, Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, could really, help fix that,
Yeah.
But they are, regardless of how you look at it, regardless of who they have, who they don't have, they are in a hole to start the season. They are 9-11, 2.5 games back of the Diamondbacks, who they're playing right now. The Diamondbacks actually won their series this week. Oh my God. Nando is up again. He just hit a
very far foul ball.
Yeah, the Cardinals played the Diamondbacks this week. Diamondbacks, rather, played the Cardinals because the Diamondbacks are leading the NL West after taking 2 of 3 from the Cardinals. The Dodgers lost 2 of 3 to the Mets. The Padres lost 2 of 3 to the Braves. They're capitalizing. They are capitalizing. And it's not like they're beating bad teams. It's not like they're doing what the Rays are doing. They're beating very good teams. Yeah. I know the Cardinals have struggled coming out of the gates. They're also, 8-11. They have not been good at all. But the Diamondbacks have just taken advantage. And that's what you need to do, especially when you're playing these good teams.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's, Fernando Tatis Jr. looked like he just took one off the hand at the time of this recording, but luckily he did not. I will say that the Diamondbacks, I don't even want to say that they're playing above their skill set, because I think that we all kind of, when I say we all, I mean you and I, both thought that this team was going to do this, that this team had the ability to play up or down to the level of their opponent, and I think they've shown that so far. They beat the Cardinals, took 2 out of 3 from them. They nearly swept the Dodgers, taking 3 out of 4 from them. They've beat up on the Padres a little bit. They took 2 out of 3 from Milwaukee. It's just looked really, really good for them so far. And I don't even think that it's a matter of how long can they keep this up. It's how long will their competition allow them to play this well. Because just as much as I want to say that they're going to go through the whole season like this and maybe even reign atop the NL West, it's hard to say because the team is so young that one pitching performance from a really good pitcher could honestly shut this team down for a good couple of weeks. And with the NL West, you don't want to be down for a couple of weeks.
I mean, we've seen them face some pretty good pitchers.
We have, but I'm saying that they've gotten to those, and I'm giving the Diamondbacks their flowers with that. They've gone up against Corbin Burns, who they took a loss on, but they did look very good against. They went up against Alcantara. They beat Alcantara. They went up against Jack Flaherty, beat him. Montgomery, yes, not, of course, the best of the best, but still.
Well, I mean, Jordan Montgomery, it's not like they just beat up on him. They scored 7 runs off Jordan Montgomery. They're doing very good against these pitchers.
For sure. All it takes is one... Let's just say it's Max Scherzer or Justin Verlander when he comes back healthy. One of those guys to come in and shut down this really young lineup, and it could kind of deflate them a little bit, take them off cloud 9.
Wow.
Which I would not like to see. Let it be known. Would not like to see it.
I don't know. I just think this team is clicking on all cylinders right now. I don't think that they're going to just fall off that quick because these guys are so young that just they're not just going to, one loss isn't going to be the end of the world, And like I said, this is a very young group of guys. It got even younger today because they designated Madison Bumgarner for an assignment. Madison Bumgarner's gone. His Diamondbacks tenure is over. He had a horrible start against the Cardinals yesterday, or 2 days ago rather, on Thursday. He, in just 3 innings pitched... Wednesday. Today's Thursday, rather.
Yes.
He, in just 3 innings pitched, he gave up 7 earned runs, and,
did not look good doing it.
Did not look good. His ERA is a 10.26 ERA, I believe it is, to begin this season, which is just the Diamondbacks, considering how good they've been, their losses are coming from him.
Yes.
So that's not what you want to see. So they said, get the hell out of here. You've had your chance. In 5 years, I believe, this year being the 5th year, with the Diamondbacks, he had a 5.26 ERA, I want to say, or 5.43 ERA, something like that.
Yeah.
And before that, as a Giant, he had a 3.13 ERA. So, like, he just played horrible his entire time on the Diamondbacks. Yes, he threw that, one no-hitter in, what was that, 2020? The 7-inning no-hitter.
Yep, not a no-hitter on technicality.
But overall, he was just not good with them, and his tenure's over.
I must say, though, it is impressive that a team that I would say is not a big market team just yet, the Arizona Diamondbacks, are able to eat up a contract that is Madison Bumgarner. $37 million left. Kind of makes you question, what other teams, if a team like the Diamondbacks can eat that contract, what other players on other teams should also have their contracts eaten to get them off the roster to make way for, let's just say, a younger player or better players in general.
I mean, that's actually a great sign to me, the fact that the Diamondbacks DFA'd Bumgarner, because not anything because of other teams, dropping and them eating the salary, not because they're not the biggest market and they're eating the salary, but because they're not afraid to drop a guy like Madison Bumgarner if he continued to play that bad. They could have very easily said, we're paying for this guy. He's going to play for us.
Yeah.
We don't care if we lose the days that he starts. We're paying him. But they didn't go that route. They said, we'd rather win ball games than have this guy pitch for us every fifth day.
And especially with how they're playing, it's well worth it.
Yeah, and I think that says something about a team when they say they want to win more than paying this guy to pitch for us, because we want him to pitch for us, but not if he's bad. And we'll pay to make him not pitch for us, as Xander Bogaerts hits a home run. We'll pay for him to not pitch for us because we want to win. And I just love that to the fans, that to me as a Diamondback, if I was like a diehard Diamondbacks fan, I'm like, okay, they're all in for winning this season. They're all in for winning. They could have very easily not done that.
They're also all in for, I think, growth. Not just on an individual standpoint for like the one starter that's now going to get more starts because Madison Bumgarner, but as an organization, just being able to move on and accept the fact that let's just get one thing straight. I don't think that it's hard. We don't lose any respect for Madison Bumgarner. He's still the best postseason pitcher of all time, and it's hard to forget all the memories that he's given everybody in the baseball world in his 3 World Series runs. However, the fact that the Diamondbacks realize that now's the time to really hit the youth movement, which they've been at the forefront of for years now, and now that they've given up completely on even one more older player in the league, who isn't even that old, honestly, 33 years old, is a really good sign, and it just means that more younger players are going to get more opportunities, and hopefully that shows to the rest of the organizations in baseball that, hey, it's worth it to get rid of somebody who's taking away from your future.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where you got from me saying that I was saying individually another guy's getting to start. All right, well, it's okay. Just seemed like you were answering me there.
Getting all my thoughts off.
No, yeah, we pretty much said the same thing. It's a very good sign for the organization as a whole that you want to win and you are ready to have more young guys step up, and you just think that having Bumgarner in that picture isn't good because you want to win games.
Yeah.
And I love that for the Diamondbacks because right now they are 11-8. I mean, they might not be 11-8 at the time this is posted because the Padres are currently beating them 4-1, but they are currently 11-8. So Diamondbacks, good job. The game that they did lose, though, they got beat up pretty bad. The Mad Bum game. A couple guys in their bullpen also gave up a few more runs, but overall they've just been a very, very good team. Yeah. I know Dre Jameson's been a guy for them a lot this season. He's kind of stepped up. He's made some starts now, which he was in the bullpen, but he's started to make some starts and he's looked pretty good in them. So I'm very, very excited. The Cardinals right now are not having fun. They are, like I said earlier, 8-11 and 6 games back of first place. Are you worried for the Cardinals at all?
I'm going to say yes, and I think the main reason why I'm worried for them, at least what I'm thinking about when you ask me if I'm worried, is it's very clear that there's a disconnect between the management group that's in the dugout or behind the scenes not so much the front office, but the management group and the players. Because all the players on the Cardinals individually are great players. Let's be honest. Nolan Gorman, Jordan Walker, Brendan Donovan,
Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado.
Yeah. Like just I've given my flowers to everybody here, but they're all very good individually. Wilson Contreras has even kind of turned it on a little bit. He's looked okay.
He did have a 2 home run game this week,
and he's looks like he's just hitting the ball a little bit better now. I just don't understand what the disconnect is, and I think that from a management standpoint, it's that they're not making the right moves, and it's kind of upsetting the team a little bit. You know, like maybe not bringing in the pitcher that the team feels is better for the situation, especially with a new manager who this is his first season. You know, I think there's a small disconnect, there's a small miscommunication, or lack of communication, I should say, that needs to be addressed, and I hope that they address it soon because this team is very much built to compete, and I think that that's the main reason. Other reasons could be because their pitching staff has not looked so well to start the year, but that's one thing that I think can correct itself more easily than the management-player disconnect.
This is Marmol's second season, so this is not his first season as the manager.
Really?
He was their manager last year as well. I did hear you say his first season.
I did.
Second season. So he had this same club. I think a lot did. Like that Tyler O'Neill incident was kind of
terrible.
Felt like a very big what's the word?
Deal.
Deflator.
It was.
In their clubhouse. They just haven't clicked the way you would think. And they still have guys. I mean, Nolan Gorman, like you said, Nolan Gorman was one of those guys who can be good independently. Batting .316 with a 1.052 OPS. 5 homers, 18 RBIs. Like, Nolan Gorman's been very good. Jordan Walker's batting like .270. Jordan Walker's been really good. It's just not going as they thought it would go. And it sucks to see, especially because what worries me the most is the fact that the other teams in their division, even the ones that we might not have expected, are doing really good. The Pirates are 13-7. They just killed the Rockies in a 3-game series. Mm-hmm. None of the games it even felt like the Rockies were even in it. The Cubs beat the Athletics. They swept them. The Cubs are looking good. Bellinger's looking really good. Dansby's looking good. Hosmer just hit his first Cubs home run this series. Just that's why I'm worried for the Cardinals, because the other teams in their division are playing really, really good baseball right now.
Now, before we continue this conversation, clap it up for Cody Bellinger's first 5-hit game.
First 5-hit game of his career,
First 5-hit game of his career. Looked very, very good. And he has looked good, honestly, for the whole season. I am blown away with how well he has kind of turned his philosophy around of approaching it at the plate and coming across the balls that he needs to hit. And he's doing a damn good job at it. He has 3 homers on the year with 12 RBIs, and he's batting .284 with an .809 OPS, 119 OPS plus. Good job, Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, I said it earlier. You know, you want that, or I said it last episode. You want that MVP Cody Bellinger back. These stats may not be like that MVP quite yet, but it's a big step up from where he's been the last 2 years. So any improvement is incredible. I think even if this season he doesn't wind up being that MVP like caliber kind of player, as long as he's not what he was with the Dodgers the last 2 years, you got a good deal.
And even then, it's only a 1-year deal for Cody Bellinger. Yeah. If he basically keeps these same numbers through the whole season, then Cody Bellinger is going to get a good paycheck. Because if you see that for basically his first year that he's fully healthy, that he didn't try to play through anything, and that he got a change of scenery from getting out of Dodgerville, now you're talking about a guy who could earn a long-term contract with a team that needs an outfielder or a first baseman.
Oh yeah, I think he'll definitely get a long-term contract if he continues to play this good. Whether that's with the Cubs or not, I don't know, because I see there is I can picture a world where he just stays with the Cubs. You know, the Cubs are the ones who gave him a shot, and they could still use him in that lineup even after this year, I'm sure. So we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to the offseason.
Yeah, quite some ways away, but
Hopefully he continues to play good.
Clap it up again for Cody Bellinger.
Another guy on the Cubs who's been really, really good, P-Wizzy. Patrick Wisdom. He's been very good. P-Wizzy.
No, I like P-Dizzle.
How does that make sense with his name?
P-Dizzle.
P-Wizzy. Patrick Wisdom's been very, very good. Patrick Wisdom has 8 home runs on the season. I believe he's tied for the league lead in home runs with Pete Alonso.
I can fact check that.
Which is just incredible. I don't know where he gets it. He had 2 home runs in game 1 of the series against the Athletics. The Cubs won that game, of course.
Tied for the lead.
Tied for the league lead in homers with 8. He had 2 homers in 1 game. And up to that point, I think he homered in, 5 straight games, I believe? 4 or 5 straight games?
It was 5 homers in 4 games.
Yeah, just he was going off. Which I absolutely love to see because I feel like he was one of those guys that bursted out in 2021, I believe it was. And then 2022, we kind of didn't hear much from him. I know he might have missed a lot of time, but I'm glad to see him back and actually him being on my radar just from I'm not watching these games specifically, but I am hearing about how good Patrick Wisdom is doing, and that makes me happy. The Cubs have played very, very good all around. Seiya Suzuki just came back from his injury. He's looked pretty good through this first series. Again, it is the Athletics, so keep that in mind. Ian Happ's looked really good. He's batting .323 so far this season. And like I said, Dansby. He's Dansby. He's still looking for his first Cubs home run, though. Yeah,
well, I mean, they have not had him come across that just yet, but with how well he's playing and with how well the rest of the lineup is playing, they don't really need him to hit a ball over the fence every at-bat.
They don't need it, but we are looking for it.
Yeah.
I'm looking for his first Cubs home run. Will he do it? At home against the Dodgers. That I'd love to see. Nico Hoerner needs to be talked about. Nico Hoerner has been very good. He is just getting on base. He's stealing bases, and he's scoring runs.
He's doing it all, and not to mention that he's playing a very, very good defensive second base.
Oh, yeah. He's just all around incredible Nico Hoerner. Round of applause for Nico Hoerner. We talked about Patrick Wisdom's home runs. Do we want to get to our home runs?
Sure.
The weekly ding-dongs. We are here with our weekly ding-dongs, our home run draft. So, last week, I picked Alex Bregman and Pete Alonso. Lewis, who did you pick last week?
Last week, I went with Julio Rodriguez and Kyle Schwarber.
Okay.
And just because I am all about fair game, Pete Alonso just hit another home run.
Did he right now?
Yes, he did.
That counts.
It does count.
I never spoke it.
It does count. You never spoke it.
Okay.
I'm a man who plays a fair game. So let that one be known. So, Alex, what is your total now with the Pete Alonso home run that just happened?
Alex Bregman had 0 homers. Unfortunately. Sucks. Pete Alonso, now with that one, had 3. So what we talked about this right before we started, and we said as long as they hit it before we speak it, it counts. And before I spoke it,
I have to say it.
So thank you, I appreciate it. So Pete Alonso had 3. That brings my total for the season to 7. Lewis, what about you? Thank you.
All right. So for my weekly ding-dongs, I had Julio Rodriguez as the only person to show up. Kyle Schwarber, I guess the memo got lost in the mail that he was supposed to hit the ball over the fence. But Julio Rodriguez came up with 2 solo shots for me. One on the 17th, one on the 19th. Brings my total up to 5.
Okay, so 5-7 right now.
5-7.
Okay. It's interesting.
It is interesting.
Do you want to pick first this week?
I did last week. I'll let you go first.
All right, me picking first. I'm going Fernando Tatis Jr.
Okay.
How could I not? He's coming back. He's bound to hit a home run in one of the first 2 series. If he doesn't, that sucks because I really want him to. So I'm going Fernando Tatis Jr.
Okay, I like it.
For my NL pick.
Yes. So do I get back-to-back?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so for my AL, I'm going to go to one of my favorite players in all of baseball, Adley Rutschman. I think he's kind of due. He's been really swinging the bat well, and he's looked really good for power and average and everything. Would not surprise me if coming up soon, we're talking about how he might have a back-to-back-to-back homer, not back-to-back-to-back homer streak, but a 3-homer game or something like that. I think that's more than reasonable to say. They do play the Tigers and the Red Sox. So
it's possible.
Very possible. And for my NL, I'm headed over to Dodgerville. I'm going with Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts, I think he is just kind of due. He just came back from maternity leave.
What's the dad strength?
Yeah, new dad strength. You kind of have to ride it. They're playing at Chicago and then in Pittsburgh. So that's my reasoning behind picking Mookie Betts and Adley Rutschman.
All right, Mookie Betts and I like it.
So who's your AL pick?
My AL pick is I'm also going to LA, but the LA Angels.
Of course.
I'm going Hunter Renfroe.
Oh.
They are playing. They play? I believe next week they play the Royals this weekend and the Athletics next week. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to pick an Angel, and Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, too obvious.
Too chalk.
Hunter Renfroe has been good this season. He's been very good this season. I want to pull up his home run total because I feel like he has a lot of home runs sneakily.
He has 4.
Sneakily has 4.
I don't know.
There's no way he doesn't get a hold of one against the Royals or the Athletics. Is my thought process.
The way to judge it is, do you think that you could get a hold of one?
Yes.
So then there's no way that Hunter Renfroe can.
Exactly. And Hunter Renfroe has a little bit more power than me. So
just a little bit.
So we'll see. All right, Homer draft. So I got Hunter Renfroe, Fernando Tatis Jr. Lewis got Adley Rutschman, Mookie Betts, and the score is currently 5 for Lewis, 7 for me, and Matt Carpenter just hit a home run. So it would have been nice if one of us picked him.
No, that would have been fun.
That would have been funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, there we go. So
okay, clap it up.
Weekly ding dongs.
Yep.
Weekly ding dongs for this week. Love it. So what else? What else we got? Let's talk about Max Scherzer. We got to.
Let's jump right into it.
Max Scherzer in game 3? Game 3 of the Mets-Dodgers series this week. The Mets looking to take the series. It was the rubber match. Each team had won a game. Max Scherzer pitched 3 innings. After the 3rd inning, went to the umpire for a sticky substance check, since something was wrong. Rather, this was before the 3rd inning. Went to, and the umpire told him he had to change his glove. And he changed his glove, and he pitched the 3rd inning just perfectly normal.
Which, that request from the umpire to change the glove is considered a warning. So just to move forward, just to explain the situation, but continue.
Yes, and then right before he came out to pitch the 4th inning, they started checking him again, which is unusual because you usually check the pitcher after the inning. But they're checking him before. And something was wrong with his glove, and then they were looking at his hands, and they ejected him. They ejected Max Scherzer. Scherzer was livid. Before he got a 10-game suspension, he's appealing it. That is what it is. It was rosin on his hands.
He revoked his repeal. He's serving the 10 games.
I still think it was rosin on his hands.
Completely agree with you.
There is no doubt in my mind.
Completely agree with you.
Rosin is we saw this with Domingo Germán last week. Rosin is a legal substance. When a pitcher is sweating, this game took place in LA. Keep that in mind too. And it mixes with rosin, it becomes a very sticky surface. Which is why, like, during the Yankees, when it happened to Domingo Germán, they asked him to wash his hands. Just wash your hands. Like, we know it's not an illegal substance, but at least try to not make it as sticky as possible. I don't know. The same thing happened with Max Scherzer. I saw something that said that he tried to bring the same glove back into the game, which was the issue. And then his hands were also just really, really sticky. I know Phil Cuzzi put his hand in Scherzer's glove, which is kind of weird. And his just hands were just overly sticky.
That's like one of the top 5 rules of baseball that you don't do, is you put your hand in another player's glove.
Especially as an umpire,
yeah. And another thing of note about this, Scherzer's spin rate was completely normal, too. Yeah, across not just this season, across his entire career. We know that Max Scherzer is not a cheater. I think that it's very obvious and very clear.
It's BS.
He's too much of a competitor to do something like that, and it was complete, like Alex just said, BS to the fact that they're going to toss him over that. He revoked his appeal, which I thought interesting choice, but I believe he is with the Players Association. He is a part of the board of the Players Association, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so still, yep.
So I think this is his way of saying, you know what, I don't want to start up another fight with the Major League Baseball committee and all of that. It's not worth it. I'll sit out my 10 games. I'll get a little bit of extra rest and then come back ready than ever.
Yeah, I feel like the appeal not appealing could also have something to do with the fact that, hey, look, if he appeals, I think MLB can make a very, very good case for this is the rule. If you get thrown out during a substance check, it's a 10-game suspension. That's just literally the rule. And there's nothing you can do to get around it. So if he appeals that, he's not pitching the next 5 days. So when that appeal comes out, that's just longer than he has to wait. Yeah. It just doesn't make sense for Max Scherzer. So he's going to miss 2 starts. This last start, he was pitching on short rest, or rather long rest, on purpose. And he was looking really, really good. So it is really a shame, and I think it's a complete bullshit suspension, and that ejection was bullshit. I don't know what was going on. Yes, his hands looked glossy. It was sweat and rosin, which are both legal substances. I get that the umpires can tell you this is a lot, but that doesn't mean that they could just prevent themselves from when they go on the mound, when they grab that rosin bag. What are they going to do, wash their hands in the middle of the inning? There's a pitch clock now. They can't.
They have a little setup behind the mound now to wash your hands.
It doesn't make sense to me.
I think the thing that I've been seeing a lot is there needs to be a limit on how much rosin a pitcher can use, but it all varies based on what environment they're playing in about how much rosin you need. If you're playing in New York in October, obviously it's going to be cool, it's going to be chilly. The guys are just going to want their hands warmed more than they want them sticky at that point. There's no sweat, no nothing. Whereas if they're playing in LA in October, you're talking about it's still a warm weather environment where they would need more rosin to ensure that they have the best grip possible in the baseball.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a matter of pitcher preference, how much rosin they want to use. There's no limit. There's nothing in the rule book that says you can only use this much, that much. I don't know. I think it's stupid. I just disagree. I can't express my disagreement more.
I agree.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Free Max Scherzer. Free my boy Max.
Free Mad Max.
But yeah, so that's the whole Scherzer situation. The Mets did go on to win this game 5-3. Brandon Nimmo went 5 for 5 with a 2-run home run in that game, which the Mets going into LA and taking 2 out of 3. They're on a West Coast road trip right now. It's going really good, and right now they're beating the Giants. I know Eduardo Escobar just hit another home run. I don't know the exact score. Hopefully they can continue that. But if you go out into that big West Coast trip and you come out, like what are they? 12-7 right now. They have a 4-game series against the Giants coming up. Mm-hmm. 4 games. You split that series, you're coming out 14-9. That's pretty good for a West Coast road trip.
And for anyone who's unfamiliar with the New York Mets, usually their West Coast road trip, where they do play 3 or 4 series straight out on the West Coast, the left coast. Usually it's during the middle of the season, right before or after the All-Star break, and every Mets fan despises it because usually, and history has shown, that they don't perform well on the West Coast during the regular season. So it's really cool to see the Mets, I almost said Dodgers, the Mets turning it around like this and really being able to kick it into overdrive and put in some more fight, even calling up Brett Beatty to just give a little bit more of a spark to this team to just win games out on the West Coast. Because it would mean a lot then coming back home with the momentum of, we just won a bunch of games rather than the deflating, we just lost 8 out of our 12 games. And we had to take the 6-hour flight home, and now we're going up against the Braves or whoever they play next.
Yeah, Beatty hasn't made a direct impact yet, but I do understand what you're saying. Get a little spark, get the young guy in there. Better than easy out Escobar. In there every day.
Escaroff is
easy out Escaroff. But yeah, the Mets right now are 5-1 on their road trip, on their West Coast road trip, and they have 4 more games left. Even if they split, that's going 7-3 on a West Coast road trip. That's really good. That would and something tells me they're going to take at least 3 of 4 against the Giants. So that would be a 8-2 road trip. Yeah. If they took 3 of 4, that is very, very good. That's very, very good. So good job, Mets. getting it done. They're winning right now, too, so it's looking good for the Mets. Unfortunately for the Mets, the Braves have been quite literally just unstoppable. Yeah. They've been better.
Per the usual story of the NL East is the Mets are doing great, but the Braves are always one step in front.
Braves are just a little bit better right now.
Yeah.
But we'll see what goes on with that. What else we got?
Well, if we're on the topic of pitchers,
okay, no Marlins.
We might as well jump into the two pitchers that got extended.
Yeah.
During the season, pretty cool to see. Pablo Lopez and Hunter Greene both get pretty damn good paydays, I must say. Pablo Lopez gets a 4-year, $73.5 million contract extension from his new team, the Minnesota Twins. And Hunter Greene got a 6-year, $53 million extension. Well, extension, it basically just bought out all of his arbitration, plus I believe it's 1 year of free agency. But still, guaranteeing a paycheck is great.
Still a big step for a young pitcher.
Yep,
yeah.
Still a big step. So congratulations to both of them. Let's clap it up really quick.
Yeah, well-deserved from both of them. I mean, Pablo Lopez, like you said, he's new to the Twins, but in 4 starts, he's got a 1.73 ERA, 26 innings pitched. Like, he leads the league in strikeouts. He's got 33 strikeouts. He's been phenomenal for them. Mm-hmm. And I think that him coming into the Twins, you just traded the batting champion for him. You're thinking we better get everything from this guy. And so far you have. And it's a well-deserved extension. It really is a well-deserved extension. I'm really happy for Pablo Lopez. Yeah, a former boy down south.
Former boy down south will always be a boy down south. Pablo Lopez, congratulations. My friend Pablo Lopez. My friend.
Your friend. One of your best friends.
One of my best friends, Pablo Lopez, gets his extension. Really, really cool to see. I think that this is a good step in the right directions for the Twins, who prior to their extension with Pablo Lopez, 4 out of their 5 starters were set to be free agents. Now they've knocked that number down to 3 at the end of the season, which gives them a lot more comfortability. Because now all they have, if next season were to come about right now, would be Pablo Lopez and Joe Ryan. For the Midwest,
that's good.
That is a great 1-2 to have. And with how the Twins operate, it would not surprise me if they do have another guy like Joe Ryan sitting in the minor leagues, or another guy who can really show off like Pablo Lopez has done throughout his career in the minor leagues that could come up and be impactful. And they've somehow managed to work it around, and their team looks solid for hopefully years to come.
Yeah, the Twins, like you said, team looking solid for years to come. They are leading the AL Central right now. Don't want to speak too fast because last season they were leading the AL Central in the beginning of the season a lot. So we'll see what they can continue to do. I'm very excited for them. They got Correa. Buxton has stayed healthy, knock on wood, so far. I know Buxton's only been DHing because they're just way too scared to have him play in the cold weather.
Cannot blame him.
I can't blame him, but that is so beyond sad. No offense to Byron Buxton.
It is sad, yes. But also, this guy can genuinely change the look of the organization if he performs as well as his 162-game average is. So it makes sense. I would prefer that they preserve him now. So down the road, in June, July, August, we're talking about him making some of the most spectacular defensive plays in center field.
I agree.
Yep.
The AL Central, when you look at them, it's just... Is it bad if I say it's sad?
It's called the Midwest for a reason.
They're the last 10s for each team. 5-5, 5-5, 5-5, 3-7, 1-9. No one has a winning record in their last 10 games.
Yeah. It's called the Midwest.
It's close because of how mid they are, yeah.
Yeah. They're all going to find a good way to be okay, except for obviously the bottom feeders. But I guess essentially I'm only talking about the top 2 teams, the Guardians and the Twins, because they'll somehow figure out a way to damn near go 500 through the All-Star break, and one of the 2 is then just going to turn it on. That's exactly what we saw last year. The Guardians just turned it on, extra power mode for the second half, and that's what got them over the Twins, and that's what got them a division title.
That's how they be.
That's how they be.
Yeah, no. And then like you said, the bottom feeders of that division. The White Sox are one of them right now.
Yeah.
The White Sox are 7-12. They just lost 2 of 3 to the Philadelphia Phillies, the Phillies haven't been much better. They're 8-12.
Tony La Russa is sitting at home right now just laughing because everyone was blaming him. He was the scapegoat. Oh yeah, he's steaming. Everyone took him to be the scapegoat of why the White Sox were mid, why the Mid Sox were mid last season, and it turns out that the talent just isn't there. As much as we want to believe that it is, they have 3 guys who were top prospects at one point. They have Tim Anderson. They have this what was supposed to be great pitching staff, and thank God, by the way, clap it up for Liam Hendricks again, finally cancer-free. But they have all these guys in their organization and in their major league roster, and they're not finding a way to produce. And I think that it's genuinely something that the White Sox need to make a decision right now about and consider blowing it up by the All-Star break, by the trade deadline. Because is it really worth it to go, 80-82 for the next 5, 6, 7 seasons and pay a bunch of these guys? Or would you rather hit the reset button, let the Twins and the Guardians duke it out, and when they're finally done, because it is the middle of the country, it's not as big of a market, Chicago can step in once again and try to take over that division? I
don't think that they would ever do that. I don't think that they would just blow it up, because when you look at the guys in their lineup, it's like you just went out and signed Benintendi, who was your biggest Diamondbacks just tied it up. Benintendi was your biggest free agent signing in team history, which is baffling. But then you have him for the next 4 or 5 years. You have Luis Robert, who you still have him on his rookie deal. He's only 25. Andrew Vaughn's only 25. Eloy's only 26.
It feels like they've been young forever.
But that's what I'm saying. They have so many young guys. I don't think they're not gonna trade all these guys. This is their system. They don't have just a bunch of guys in the farm system that they're ready to call up once they get rid of these guys. It wouldn't make sense for me. I think that they're just gonna keep being mid, because that's how they are. They're the Mid Sox. There's no other way to put it.
The Mid Sox.
The Chicago Mid Sox.
Yep. Some people like High Sox. Some people like Low Sox.
They are the Mid Sox.
Down in the south side of Chicago, they like the Mid Sox.
The Tigers have a better winning percentage than them right now. So if that says anything. Although the Tigers just took 2 or 3 from the Guardians.
And they looked interesting.
They didn't look good. They didn't look good.
They did not look good at all. The Guardians, like I think I mentioned it last episode or 2 episodes ago, the Guardians so far this season have been a team that plays to the level of their opponent. Like, they could go toe-to-toe with the Yankees or with the Dodgers or with any of the top teams right now if they wanted to and have it be a bloodbath. Or they can let the Tigers take 2 out of 3 from them, and they just won't look good doing it, which is exactly what they did.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to me. It sucks.
It's bizarre.
Seeing that, it's bizarre. It is. They lost. They got swept in a doubleheader, which is even crazier because most of the times in doubleheaders you see a split. Yeah. I'd say majority of times you see split doubleheaders. They lost both games. They lost 1-0 in the second game. They couldn't even score a run. Eduardo Rodriguez, in all fairness, did go 8 scoreless innings.
Shoved.
10 strikeouts. Eduardo Rodriguez shoved in that game. So, not, I guess, all fault to the Guardians, but still, that sucks, losing 1-0 to a team like the Tigers. I have no more things to say about the AL Central. I hate the Central Division.
AL Central.
I said AL. I have nothing more to say about the AL Central.
So then let's transition to the NL Central, where this whole conversation started. Pablo Lopez got his extension. We talked about the AL Central for a minute. In the NL Central, Hunter Greene got his extension. Like I said, 6-year, $53 million deal. Looks really good for the Reds, who are otherwise sitting right now at the bottom of the division with, strangely enough, their closest company, their closest neighbor, being the St. Louis Cardinals.
Bizarre.
But I think, can we say step in the right direction if the Reds want to go on the up and up?
Oh, 100%.
Yep.
Hunter Greene is a flame-throwing righty. He's been, nothing too stand out, but this season he has started very, very good. He came up last year, and he looked, he didn't look bad, but he wasn't coming out firing every night.
Right. Go ahead, sorry.
This season, he's like just been more on my radar, and when he pitches, I feel like I'm looking at it more. He did come out of the game in Game 1 against the Rays when he pitched. After just 3 innings, he came out of the game with a little injury, but nothing major. He'll be back.
Yeah.
Obviously, nothing major if they sign him to an extension the day after that happens. So, Hunter Greene, I love it. He has his fastball's overpowering. His off speed is very good. He's just, I don't understand how this guy gives up any runs.
So the way that I look at Hunter Greene is that the Reds are making the right move in terms of running an organization, because even before Hunter Greene came up to the big leagues, we have heard about him. He was a top prospect for the Reds, and it was exciting to see that he got called up. Now that he got called up, and like Alex mentioned last season, he was kind of just a pitcher. He wasn't like that top prospect come in to dominate type of guy. This season, he's showing flashes of it. Great move on the Reds and their front office to lock him up now before he fully ramps into the player that we know he can become. And either he requests out, or we're talking about him earning like $100 million plus.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just a great move from the Reds, who honestly, they are going to be exciting come the end of this year and the next couple of years because of how many prospects they have, especially with getting rid of a lot of their guys, trading them away for prospects. It's going to be exciting to see what team they build now.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I agree. I'm excited to see what direction they choose to go to, where they're deciding to go. Obviously, they still have major talent on this team in not just Hunter Greene, but you also have Jonathan India, TJ Friedl has been really good to start this season, believe it or not. Yeah, Spencer Steer is a 25-year-old. He's been good. Who else has been good for this team? Will Myers has been good. I don't think he's a long-term piece, though.
Not at all, but he's been good this season.
No, I'm talking in terms of the long-term pieces that they're looking for.
Oh, well, if you're talking...
TJ Friedl, Spencer Steer, and Jonathan India.
Don't forget about some of their guys who are in AAA right now. Novel Marte, Ellie De La Cruz.
Can't say Novel Marte was anywhere on my radar.
Well, he's...
Ellie De La Cruz I have heard of.
Ellie De La Cruz.
I know he's good.
I believe he always has one of the premier cards in MLB The Show. So that might be where you've heard him from.
No, I know who he is as a prospect.
Novel Marte.
Knowing someone from MLB The Show as if I play that game. Unbelievable.
Novel Marte was the main piece in the Luis Castillo trade to the Mariners. So, and I believe he was actually the Seattle Mariners' #1 overall prospect before.
Noelvi?
Noelvi. Oh, I'm saying Noel, right? Yeah,
I have no idea what you're saying.
I'm pronouncing it wrong.
It is a weird name to pronounce.
But no, Marte in their prospect, a prospect for the Reds, he's looked good. So it'll be exciting to see when he comes up, when Ellie De La Cruz comes up, and when any other prospect comes up, because it seems like, as of right now, they're making the right decision when it comes to their prospects.
They're doing good so far. I mean, they have 5 top 100 prospects in baseball, and if that doesn't say something about your farm system and where you're looking to go in the next few years, I don't know what does, because we could come out of the gates in the next 4 years or 3 years. Say 3 years from now we're here. Jonathan India has kind of submitted himself in the league as just a very good player. TJ Friedl is still there, or Spencer Steer, rather, is still there. But then you have these prospects coming up, one after another. Yeah. And slowly the team just starts to get better and better, and it's all homegrown stuff. And I think that is a definite possibility for the Reds in the next couple of years. Not right this second. If we're talking about this second, they did lose 2-3 to the Rays this week, which it's the Tampa Bay Rays. They won Game 1 pretty convincingly.
The crew that is the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, they won Game 1 pretty convincingly, 8-1. They gave the Rays their 3rd loss of the season. Mm-hmm. But then after that, the Rays, 10-0, and then 8-0. The Rays, I believe, are the only team, definitely the only team left. I don't know about in history. They've hit a home run in every single one of their games so far this season.
Really? That's exciting.
Yeah, they have. When they lost 8-1, Josh Lowe hit a home run in the 9th inning. They barely got it off, but I know they've hit a homer in literally every game. That's not even an exaggeration. Every single game this season.
Well, isn't that just fun?
They've just been a well-oiled machine. And yes, you can also argue they played the Reds, bad team, another one. The only good team they've played, the Blue Jays, they lost 2 of 3. Yeah. But no matter which way you look at it, they're 16-3 right now. Mm-hmm. So they're doing their job beating up on the bad teams, because once they actually start playing the good teams, they might need these extra wins. It'd be a lot more concerning if I was a Rays fan and you came out of this first stretch, these first 5-6 series, and instead of 16-3, they were 12-7 like the Yankees were. But you played significantly worse teams than the Yankees have. Mm-hmm. That would be a little jarring to me if I'm a Rays fan. Not that Rays fans exist, but if I am a Rays fan, it feels good to be beating up on the bad teams. People can say whatever they want about the legitimacy of how good they are right now. You're doing your job beating up on bad teams. So yes. That's all I'm going to say. But the Rays, they're still looking like the Rays. They're 16-3 right now. The Yankees are second in that division, 12-7, which they just finished the series with the Angels, which Shohei Ohtani hit a homer in Game 1. Aaron Judge robs Shohei Ohtani in Game 2. I think that exact same thing happened when they played at Yankee Stadium last year.
It did.
And Judge robbed Ohtani to lead off the next game. Like the same exact. It was wild.
Yeah, it's just a crazy sequence of events. But
deja vu.
Going back to the Reds, obviously we mentioned how they are a team that is doing it the right way in terms of their prospects and how they're prepping their team for the future. Going to the other side of the spectrum, the Oakland Athletics.
Oh, yes.
Big topic in baseball right now. And where I'll kick us off is the fact that they have traded away their entire team over the course of the last, 6 seasons? Basically, 4 or 5 seasons. Their lineup, had they kept everybody, would have looked amazing, would have been competing in the AL West. My apologies. Now, they only have one player in the top 100 prospects for MLB this season, and they are sitting at 3-16. And it came out 2 days ago, of the time of this posting, they're moving to Vegas. It's official.
They are.
The owner just bought a 49-acre piece of land just north of where the Las Vegas Raiders play, the NFL team. It is set to be a $1.5 billion stadium that will be finished in 2027. How do you feel about this?
Good for them. I love it.
Really?
How could you not love it? Get the hell out of Oakland. Get out of Oakland. Vegas, especially in the last few years, you've had the Golden Knights hockey. You've had the Raiders in football.
The Aces, WNBA.
You've had these teams. Yes, the Aces. You've had these teams who have moved to Vegas, and it's worked out. I mean, if you're looking to get attendance, which is exactly what the A's are looking to do, because that's their main issue right now. No one goes to the games because of how bad they are. If you're going to get attendance, go to Vegas. Think of how many people travel to Vegas in the year. And especially in baseball season, the summer, it feels like that it's just so smart. And Vegas, I don't know, just change of scenery. Everything about the Oakland Athletics organization right now might be at its worst ever. So I'm very excited that they finally get out of there. And I know it sucks for their fans, but you gotta understand. How are the fans gonna be mad? They also don't show up to the games. If you want to show your support, don't leave the city. Show up to the games. They don't show up to the games. I don't care how bad they are. If you're a fan and you don't want them to leave because you've had such bad attendance, go to the games. I think the move to Vegas is great. Do you not think it's a good move? I think it's a fantastic move.
I agree with you that it's a good move. However, I'm also going to play devil's advocate. This is not just the fault of the fans.
I never said it was.
I know, but I'm just, let me do my spiel. This is not the fault of the fans, because obviously the fans of any team, whether winning or losing, want to go to the games. I think the biggest issue that Oakland Athletics fans faced was, one, the team is terrible. You sell off all of the guys who the kids buy the jerseys of, who the MLB wants to cover. I don't think the Athletics have a single Sunday or Friday night baseball game. Like, that's how bad they are. There's nothing to look forward to on that end. And the management and the ownership has been all about just earning money. They have not wanted to spend it on all of these guys who could be damn near generational talents that have gone through their organization and have gotten traded off before signing an extension, which I think is just a terrible look for an organization. in my opinion, and this is my Oakland Athletics fandom speaking right now, if the owner wanted to do right by this team and by this fan base that we've seen them time and time again pack every human being in Oakland, California into that stadium, and it has been amazing. You can watch Moneyball. I mean, you can go watch the 2010 Oakland Athletics, or 2010s, I should say, Oakland Athletics. They were packing out that house, and now they're not because there's no reason to go. In my opinion, what the owner should have done is sold the team first and said to the next owner, like, hey, move them to Vegas, because I think it just looks like the owners of the Athletics are raising the white flag. They're saying, we give up. We don't want to try to compete. We don't want to try to bring our fans to the stadium. So we're going to go somewhere else where everyone's just going to come to us.
I do really like that.
And I think that's unfair to the Athletics.
I like what you're saying, and I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, you said it. They've all been about making money and not spending. Vegas. Most of the people that will be going to those games are going to be people who don't live in Vegas.
Yeah, and they're going to make a lot of money, and I genuinely hope, my hope is that when this stadium is built, obviously this is far down the road. This is 5 years away. 2027 season is when they will be opening up in Vegas. When the stadium is built and all done, I hope that they sell it out. I hope they pack it out, and I hope they have a confident team by then. I want to see what ownership does then when they are earning all this money and they see, oh, wow, our paychecks are a lot higher. We have more money to spend on things within our organization. Are they still going to be cheap? It would not surprise me if it's the same ownership group or same owner, I don't know what it is, if they say, you know what, still, let's trade these guys away. We'd rather have our $200 million yacht rather than the $150 million yacht.
No, I think eventually it has to smack them in the face at some point, and especially if they have that extra money. Either that or they will sell the team by then. I don't think it can go on for that long, especially with the talk in the last couple of years about teams just not caring and not wanting to play competitive baseball. I think there is change coming to that. I think there will be some sort of crackdown because
it's not
if you're Manfred, I know damn well you're looking at owners like whoever owns the A's, like Bob Nutting, who owns the Pirates. Yes, the Pirates are doing good right now. He didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Bob Nutting has nothing to do with the Pirates being good. Mm-hmm. Just like teams that don't want to win. If you're Manfred, that is horrible for the game of baseball. So something needs to be done. I don't think this whole...
The Red Sox, even you can throw into that conversation as well.
No.
Well, their ownership group has been very much about grabbing a quick dollar.
Yeah,
over the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, but they've been good in recent.
They've been good, but
that's all that
their ownership group has been about just earning the quick dollar, then go buy another fucking team in England.
They've still been good in recent memory. Like, I'm talking about teams who have not been good in recent memory. Pirates... Athletic, who have not won something in recent memory.
Right.
The Red Sox, they've competed every year until last year.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I don't know. I think something needs to be done about it.
And honestly, genuinely, and owners can say whatever they want, and I would love to speak to the owner of the Athletics or just someone in that front office and say to them, why could you not go offer, not $1 million, but like $20,000 more a year to 5 of the guys who are sitting in the Tampa Bay Rays organization, who are doing the scouting, who are doing the player development? Why could you not go offer it to the Dodgers? Why could you not go offer it to somebody in the Guardians or the Brewers organization? Because genuinely, they could have built a team with all of the players that they even got back from trades. They could have. And if they made the right trades and figured it out and took the right pieces, they could be saying, okay, we're going to suck right now, but when you click on MLB.com and you go over to the prospect rankings, you're going to see that Athletics logo on every page. Yeah. But they just didn't do that. They actively sought out a way to not only trade away everybody that was beloved by the Oakland A's fan base, but also not get anything in return to continue to suck, to continue to just keep all the money for themselves. And I think that's an embarrassment.
What it boils down to, about, like the offering $20,000 more, they don't care.
I know. I'm saying I think that's embarrassing.
And even then, I think a lot of those they're going to have to offer a lot more than some of the other teams do. Because, yes, while you could say these scouts, pay them $20,000 more a year, I think a lot of scouts would probably rather be in the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Rays organization, rather than a team like Oakland, who has had that.
I'm not saying it's that simple, but
like
they could have done something to help build their product.
But they don't. They could have. Yes, of course. That's always been the question. They could have kept Matt Chapman. They could have kept Matt Olson. They could have kept Sean Murphy. They could have kept that core, built around that core, actually been winning. Marcus Semien. They were in the playoffs not long ago. But the whole thing with everything the last few years, they simply don't care.
No,
it's as simple as that.
And it's an embarrassment to baseball.
Every year they would lose to the Astros. Every year they would come in second behind the Astros team, and eventually they just gave up. And that's exactly what we're seeing. The product of a team simply giving up. They have a negative 86 run differential. Are they even trying? I mean, the players are definitely trying, but it's not working. So I don't know. It's very sad. What else we got? I don't want.
It's embarrassing.
The A's are bad for the Athletics are bad for baseball right now.
Correct. I agree with you.
So if moving in 5 years is what it takes for them to be a good team again, I'm all for it.
Yeah, sure.
If you're telling me that's the only way that they will become a good team again, I'm all for it. Because this is horrible. It's horrible.
Could not agree with you more. Do you have anything else? Because I have something that I want to talk about, which would be a little bit fun.
Go for it.
So, the topic that I want to talk about is 10 teams in Major League Baseball now. 1/3 of the teams left do not have City Connect jerseys or will not be getting City Connect jerseys this season. The teams are the Oakland Athletics, the Toronto Blue Jays, the Cleveland Guardians, the St. Louis Cardinals, the New York Mets, the Philadelphia Phillies, the Tampa Bay Rays, the Detroit Tigers, Minnesota Twins, and New York Yankees. Out of those 10 teams, usually they do it in batches of 5 or 6. Can you give me the top 5 teams that you want to see to have a City Connect jersey next season?
Just
because it is City Connect jersey season. They're all getting released right now.
Yeah, Mets.
The Mets, okay. 1 or 5?
What?
1 or 5. You're going.
What do you mean 1 or 5?
I said, can you rank the 5 teams?
Well, rank. I don't know. 5 Mets.
5 Mets.
4 Cardinals.
Okay.
3 Cubs. No, they have a City Connect. 3
Jays,
Phillies.
Okay, Phillies.
2 Blue Jays. 1 Yankees. Because when the hell do the Yankees have a jersey that isn't their pinstripes or their away jerseys? A permanent jersey, that is. So,
okay.
Those are probably Yankees number 1, just because, like, when the hell have the Yankees... Literally, what if the Yankees had... But that's not a long-term. Yeah. I'm saying, like, a long-term jersey.
They're one of the most tried and true classic baseball.
I'm interested to see if they even get a City Connect.
It would not surprise me if they didn't.
That's what... Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they just, like, we don't really want that.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So, why? Who are your 5? I assume you have a list in your head.
In my head, yes. I've been thinking about this all week.
I can tell.
At my number 5, I would say the Guardians. 4 Cardinals. 3 Rays. 2 Phillies. And 1 Toronto Blue Jays. And the reason why I say 1 Toronto Blue Jays is do what the Raptors do. Collab with Drake. Because it would look really freaking cool.
Something tells me, based on a couple of the other City Connects, I'd be too worried that they would just do the Expos. Like
yeah,
an Expos kind of jersey.
Yeah, they probably would.
That's what worries me about that. They could
collab with Drake.
They could do something really, really cool, or they could just take the easy way out and do the Expos.
What if the Blue Jays City Connect was like just a jersey, but it was actually cut out into the shape of the needle? Like is it the Space Needle?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the shape of the Space Needle, and everything else is just skin.
Okay.
How does that sound?
All right. Speaking of the Blue Jays, they lost a series to the Astros this week. The Astros, we said they started off bad. Once they get hot, they are not turning back. The Astros, they started 7-9 this season, so before the series against the Blue Jays, they were 7-9. They were 7-9 last year at the beginning of the season, and they won the World Series.
They did.
So I am not worried about the Astros. They just took 2 or 3 from the Blue Jays. Jose Barrios went 7 innings pitched against them, and they not barely squeaked out a win, but they had to wait till after Jose Barrios came out of the game. That's my one tried and true way to determine if the Astros are back yet. They couldn't get to Jose Barrios.
Yeah, which is just...
They scored 2 runs off him.
What the hell?
Something's wrong. But, no, they've been really good. This last series, they looked a lot better than before. Jordan's looked good, but he's also Jordan. Jeremy Pena had a homer in the last game of this series. That is a really good look for me. Not like me personally. Like, to me, that's a really good look because Jeremy Pena, Alex Bregman, they've had a couple guys that have started really bad. Mauricio Dubon has been a huge part of this team so far. With the absence of Jose Altuve, Mauricio Dubon has been really, really good. He had like a 12-game hit streak going into this series. I know he lost it in this series, but he's still been a very big part of the lineup. So good for Mauricio Dubon. And Jose Abreu was breaking out of a little bit of a slump recently. He had a decent series against the Blue Jays, so good for them. Good for the Astros. Astros baseball. They're 9-10 right now. They're 3.5 games back of the Rangers for second place.
I think that, especially after their weekend series against Texas, where they did lose 2 out of 3, it's kind of proof that, yes, you can win the World Series. Yes, you can have all the talent. You can be the favorite. You still got to put together the wins. And as of right now, like this season so far, the Astros have not been able to string together those wins that they need to pick up in the early season to prevent them from losing the division. Because what if it comes down to the tiebreaker with the Rangers, but they lost 2 out of 3 in this random series in the middle of April? You know, like every game is very important, especially when you're playing in your own division games. So I must say, Astros, I want to see you guys find your footing, because baseball's a lot more fun when you can talk about the Astros having 6 homers in a game, Jordan going 4 for 4 with 7 RBIs, Jeremy Pena, Alex Bregman, now Jose Abreu, Jose Altuve when he comes back.
I was going to say Altuve, too.
Yeah. I mean, just Kyle Tucker, who absolute dog, love Kyle Tucker. It's just so hard to see this team that has these guys who everyone in baseball is known to be the big bad Astros not performing like the big bad Astros as of right now. But
not worried. They will. They will. It's just it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
You know when it'll be? Hold on. When do they play the Yankees?
No, yeah, whenever their first series against the Yankees is, they'll go absolutely ballistic. Insane.
Yeah, they'll go absolutely ballistic, and then they'll never look back.
What else we got? We already spoke a little bit about Yankees-Angels. Judge homered in one of the games. Yankees took 2 of 3 after losing Game 1. Walked off in Game 2. Beltway Series, Nationals O's. Big fan of the Beltway Series. The Nationals actually didn't score a run at all in that series. It was only a 2-game series, but they did lose both games, and 1-0, then 4-0. And that's all I got, if I'm being honest.
That's it for me.
So that seems like it'll do it. Let's go baseball.
Let's go baseball.
We thank you guys for watching, listening, viewing, subscribing, commenting, liking, sharing. If you're still watching, we love you. And that's not in shot. And we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.